Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for the day. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. The sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Va salute and welcome to Tuesday's Liquid Lunch. Hope everyone has made it through their Monday, that you're doing really, really well, and glad to see you all here. I'm sitting a bit low, aren't I? Let me hear. There we go. That's a little bit better. There we go. And welcome, everyone. Hope everyone is doing really, really well today. Let's check in with Big Al, who is excited for the newest Max Miller video. He's probably going to make himself up a bit of gumbo in the very near future. Welcome, my friend. The love of my life, calling me the love of hers. I always appreciate that. She says, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, become a member, gift a membership. I just brought her morning calf pow and a plate of meat for breakfast. So appreciative of her. Also appreciative of Ruby Hoove with her gifty. I so am encouraged by you, Ruby Hoove. You really do spread the love, and I am so thankful for you. She gifted a membership to Prismatics. Welcome, Prismatics. Hope you like the content around here. Hope to see you around a bit. And she waves and wears her sunglasses at, well, midday, I suppose. Wallace Lang, always good to see you. Hope to hang out with you tonight for Sherlock Holmes, if not live from Sparkwood in 21. But I know you're a big Doyle fan, so there we go. Like, share, subscribe, comment, become a member, and if you were going to give a gift, super chat of $5 or more, why not gift a membership instead to make our family grow, like Ruby Hoove did? Absolutely. Thank you so much. Nate, I didn't actually see it come through. So I don't know what to tell you about that. I do appreciate the offer, and if you were charged for it, I got a $5 contribution. Maybe not an actual member showing up on our rolls, but what are you going to do about that? There's nothing you can do about that. That's the way that YouTube works. I've actually seen it happen a couple times where people have tried to put in a gifted membership and it didn't go through. Literally, it wouldn't take their payments. I have seen people go to put one gifted membership in and it comes up with 5. And I double check with them to make sure that it didn't overcharge them, and it didn't, thankfully. But I don't know what is up with YouTube's processing system. I'm assuming that I got the money. I can't say for certain because I don't see it go into the account until the end of the month. Again, YouTube, it's incredibly frustrating. You just don't know how frustrating it is from a content creator standpoint. But you should check your bank and see if it went through. That is the best indicator. And if it did go through, then I probably got it. It probably will hit my Google account at month end. If not, no harm, no foul, right? I got to watch The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes last week. It was hilarious. I didn't know that I wanted a Billy Wilder Sherlock Holmes movie until then. I had never heard of that. I'm going to have to look into that. That sounds very, very interesting. And it went through. Okay, yeah. So I kind of have no doubt that it's probably still going to hit the Google account. And you know what? Maybe at the end of the month, I give a couple gifted memberships to cover, funds that came through and just never actually went to anybody. Jonathan Conroy says, "Hey, all, smash the like button and enjoy the show." Yes, please do those things. That would be very, very, very encouraging to me. Well, I do try to make Thoughtful Tuesdays a day to, whereas Monday musings are kind of whatever I've had in my head, kind of swirling around from the weekend, especially thoughts I haven't fully processed. I like to bounce off of you guys and get your thoughts about. I want to start with you guys on a Tuesday and tell me, what are you thinking about today? What's on your mind? Obviously, Big Al of Big Al Presents is thinking gumbo because he saw the most recent Max Miller video. If you are into food and especially food history, make sure you check out Max Miller's channel. And he's got one of those channels where he not only talks about the food, but he actually shows how he prepares it and then tries the food, and he doesn't back down. If he made something that does not taste good, he will say, yeah, this is not for me. But I followed the recipe exactly. 15 months as a membership, as a member. That is wonderful. I so appreciate your support, Nate. You are absolutely one of the pillars of this community that we've built up here. Gumbo, baby. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I appreciated what Max said about the okra and the sliminess of it. And he contests that if you prepare, excuse my reach, but I wanted to fix the camera a little bit. If you prepare it correctly, it won't be slimy. I'll take him at his word. I've never had okra in any dish that wasn't slimy. But I do get it. I do understand. My mind is groggy right now. I had to pick up my parents and sister from the airport last night. They went to Warner Brothers Studios and Disneyland. So Disneyland means that you guys are in the California area. There you go. I am going to be taking Netter to Universal Epic Universe in March. Very much looking forward to that. Very much looking forward to meeting up with a bunch of the bigger YouTubers down there, like Culture Casino and WDW Pro and all of them. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Pops on culture and aged boomer. So I would love any of you guys that can make it down to MegaCon. You don't necessarily have to go to MegaCon, just if you LobbyCon it, there will be get-togethers with all of us throughout the weekend. The Billy Wilder Sherlock Holmes movie is a total satire of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's writing style. I tried to explain to my mom that it clearly was not canonical at all. Well, I imagine. I would imagine. Heck, I'm pretty purist when it comes to that kind of stuff. We've kind of talked about this during the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes watch parties on Tuesday nights. Lots of fan speculation, lots of fan fiction. And I consider anything that wasn't written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle about Sherlock Holmes to be fan fiction. The canon has to come from Doyle, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Sherlock Holmes. But and in fact, we even have one of the movies with Robert Downey Jr., and I've never even watched it. I'll probably get around to it at some point. In fact, some people have recommended maybe we do one of those movies or some other tangential Sherlock Holmes kind of fare after we've gone through the Granada series. Maybe. I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll see. I cannot stand okra. You can boil it, you can bake it, you can fry it. I don't care how you make okra. I cannot eat it. It sounds to me like you feel the way about you feel about okra the same way I feel about what's it called? It's like a squash that my grandmother used to make. She called it gugutsil. Zucchini. I feel the same way about zucchini. The only way you could get me to eat zucchini is when I don't know I'm eating zucchini, because you've shaved it, into little shavings and put it into a zucchini bread. Zucchini bread to me isn't significantly different from banana bread, but I can't eat fried zucchini. I just don't like zucchini. And zucchini's got that kind of texture and flavor that it's real close to okra. So I didn't make that connection until you brought it up, Nate. And now, yeah, that's probably why I don't like okra, because it reminds me too much of zucchini. I don't think it's the sliminess that bothers me. I think it's everything about it. I've grown okra. I have to catch it when it's ripe or it's no good. Yeah. And that's true of many different vegetables. And one of the things Culture is encouraging people, and he's working on his gardening channel, hoping to see that real soon. The idea of what do you call hothouses, greenhouses, so that you can choose your season for your vegetables and grow things in season and out of season, however you so choose. My mom used okra in her vegetable soup, but it came in frozen mix. Never had an issue with it. That's fair. They knew I loved Batman the Animated Series, so my dad took pictures of all the memorabilia and storyboards from it in the tour for me. I've never been to the Warner Brothers, obviously in California, but they had some of those displays at the various what do you call it? The theme parks around the country that used to be owned by Marriott. Six Flags. Six Flags had the Warner Brothers characters, and one of them was the Batman ride. And while you're on the ride to the Batman ride, it's like being in Gotham City, and you get to see the Batmobile, you get to see Gotham Works, those Art Deco statues and whatnot. I really got a kick out of that. I really, really enjoyed that. More than the ride itself. As long as we don't do the Will Ferrell version. Oh, God, no. I think you mentioned that in one of the streams. I didn't know the thing existed, and I would never. Troy likes sausage gravy. No, I do not. I swear that looks like something that dripped out of an ox's nose. The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes is free on Pluto. Thank you so much for that, Big Al Presents. And Charlotte Nightstar, the werewolf. Ow! Good to see you, my dear. Always wonderful to see you. Zucchini is awesome. Grow tons of it every year. Well, feel free to enjoy it as much as you want. My grandmother loved it. She would bake it. She would fry it. She would, put it in breads. She sometimes would use it in place of eggplant, in like the equivalent of an eggplant parmesan. It would be like a zucchini parmesan. I never liked eggplant either. I was never big on eggplant either. Apparently, it's also free on YouTube. So there you go. That's great. I would prefer Sherlock Holmes in New York, starring Roger Moore as Sherlock Holmes and Patrick McNee as Dr. Watson, with John Huston as Professor James Moriarty instead. Sherlock Holmes in New York. Is it still set in the same period, or is it more of a modern dress kind of a thing? And Big Al likes zucchini. I understand. Well, if you like okra, you're probably going to like zucchini, right? I think from what Big Al has said, from what Mark has said, I think that's what I'm getting from that. Six Flags filed for bankruptcy last year. Yeah, all of the even the parks, if they were doing everything right, a lot of them were on a razor thin margin, and most of them never recovered from the pandemic. A lot of businesses never recovered from the pandemic. I think that there really needs to be a mental reckoning that people need to do in understanding how badly our economy was crippled by that pandemic. And understand that even if we do everything right, it's going to take us time to recover. And some industries are not coming back at all. You don't like sausage gravy, dude? Just not my thing. I didn't grow up with it. I don't have any warm fuzzies for it. And to me, it's just fat and flour that I really don't need in my diet. Connie Cleary, good to see you, Connie, the bird woman of YouTube and Fluff Chick Productions. For me, on the sausage gravy, I need it. I need to use turkey or chicken instead of pork. I can see that, especially turkey, because once you start getting into turkey gravy, I mean, let's face it, turkey gravy is basically made the same way you would make sausage gravy, right? Of course, I still don't use it. I only make it at Thanksgiving if I'm having someone over who says they want the gravy. Otherwise, I don't even bother with it. I was talking with Netter about my food preferences right now. And I'm very much a vanilla kind of guy. I am very much more, I want the separate tastes. So I don't want something slathered over my meats. I don't want something slathered over my, very simple. If I'm going to have bread, the most I'm probably going to put on it is some butter, right? Butter is probably the one thing that I'll put over chicken or turkey or whatever. I don't do a lot. Spices, I'm really starting to pull back on the spices, and just and I think it's a maturity in cooking, deciding what flavor palettes I really want. If it's going to be rosemary, it's going to be rosemary, and I'm not going to have a whole bunch of other crazy stuff in there too. I'm even pulling back a little bit on the salt and just deciding, does it need more salt or do I not need any salt? And let's be honest, I don't cook with any black pepper at all because Netter's got a sensitivity to it. So black pepper is something that sits on the table if someone wants to add it. I think you just never have had sausage gravy made right because if you eat sausage and you like gravy, there's no reason you shouldn't like them together, and you just had it made wrong. The most common sausage gravy I've had was Bob Evans. So if you've ever eaten at Bob Evans, you can tell me if that's what you're talking about, or if that's not. And I just had a bad experience. But yeah, so I think if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and kick out those promos real quick, and then right after the excuse me, a little bit of a tickle in my throat. Right after the halfway point, I'm going to get to an article that I was looking at that got me thinking. Yeah, this is justification that things are going right in the world. So let me kick those off real quick. We'll come back to your comments, and then we'll take a look at this article real quick. Be right back.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together. This week on Live from Sparkwood and 21, after 3 weeks viewing the extended fan edit of Firewalk with Me combined with The Missing Pieces, the superfans will spend an episode doing a deep dive into this prequel film in relation to the 3 seasons of the show and the greater lore. Join us for some damn fine coffee and pie to die for, and good conversation. This Tuesday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates.
This week on Last Call presents the return of Sherlock Holmes, believed dead after his fatal encounter with Professor Moriarty 3 years earlier. Sherlock Holmes returns to England to foil a plot to murder him by a former Moriarty gang member and assist Watson in solving a locked room murder from the empty house. This Tuesday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Last Call.
This week on Big Al Presents Films with Friends, a 2-night double feature. First on Friday the 13th, still haunted by his past, Tommy Jarvis, who, as a child, killed Jason Voorhees, is sent to a secluded halfway house in the countryside, where the killing of a young man triggers a brutal series of murders in the area. It's Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. This Friday at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Then, on Saturday the 14th, a family inherits an old mansion, which houses the dangerous Book of Evil that has all the monsters of the world trapped inside it. It's the comedy classic Saturday the 14th, Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Big Al Presents.
Every Sunday evening, Aged Boomer and Last Call with Troy Pacelli bring you the rundown of the week's geek news, or at least what they think is interesting. You may have heard about it elsewhere, but Boomer and Pacelli spin it like only two old geezers can. It's Geeky Geezers, every Sunday evening at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
This week on Last Call presents Doctor Who. The TARDIS arrives on Earth in the 13th century, where it is claimed by famed explorer Marco Polo as a gift for his employer, Kublai Khan. Polo hopes to finally buy his way out of the Khan's service. But if he succeeds, the Doctor and his friends will never be able to get back to their ship ever again. It's part 1 of the reconstruction of the missing media Doctor Who serial Marco Polo. This Sunday on Last Call presents Doctor Who.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
Connie says, I'm the same way with salt. I'm still a sucker for garlic. Yeah, Netter and I are big on garlic. Netter has a saying, you can never have too much garlic. There's no such thing. Anthony Bourdain said, you ask any chef, 5-star Michelin restaurant, restaurant, or who teaches at the fanciest French school, ask them what their favorite meal is, and they'll always say something simple. I couldn't agree more. I see some of these really extravagant dishes, with the flourishes and the little schmear on the plate, and the gilding, and elaborate look. And it's like, yes, I understand they keep saying you eat with your eyes, you eat with your eyes, you eat with your eyes. But there are limits to that. You eat with your eyes if it looks yummy, you get hungry. If it looks disgusting, you're not going to be hungry, right? You don't need it to be flashy looking. A good look, just a nice bowl of stew doesn't look great, but it looks appetizing. It looks yummy, you know? But if you see something in it that you're not used to, like purple potatoes, that might put you off. There's nothing wrong with purple potatoes. I know they taste just fine, but if I saw them in my food, I'd be like, and that might set you off. But simple is always better. Think about the art world, right? You think about all these paintings and these sculptures that look stupid and ridiculous, and the art world is like, oh, yeah, this is the height of art and whatnot. Who would want that crap in their house? What do you want in your house? You want posters. You want, if you're going to have a painting, a bowl of fruit, a landscape, the kind of stuff that Bob Ross painted. The idea that, hey, maybe I could do that too. And that's the kind of cooking. That's why I like Max Miller. His recipes I could follow. I could make what he's making. Those are simple foods. They're not so extravagant. I don't know. And then there's, like some, he tries some of the crazy ones, like meat with gold gilding on it. And it's like, yes, I know that you can metabolize gold, but why? Why? It doesn't bring anything to it. It's ridiculous. When you go and you see these the fashion shows, right? The haute couture, right? And you got all these ridiculous things that the girls can barely even walk in, right? I'm sorry for all of that, ego stroking that this industry is doing. The reality is, real people just want to look nice. A simple, little black dress or a red dress, or, just a simple outfit, right? Men, simple suit, a classic timeless suit, right? Or if you want to be casual, jeans and a t-shirt, jeans and a pullover, whatever, and honestly, most people look at you if you're wearing something that's nice but simple and go, that's a well-dressed person. I wonder what's being served at the corporate cafeteria today and what's on tomorrow's menu. Probably whatever they're serving, there will be a lot less of it because there will be a lot less people to consume it, from what I've heard. I'm late, but I just sent you a tag. Thank you so much. Real Wade Nation Gaming Recap, whatever it is, I'm sure I will happily reshare it for you. I am allergic to pork and crustaceans, so I always substitute turkey for pork and vegetable shortening for lard. There you go. Sherlock Holmes in New York is set in Victorian Edwardian era. Perfect. Awesome. Then it probably might be worth checking out. Keeg ha fars in the Breton language. Kig means meat, and fars means stuffing or flour. While it sounds like a painful encounter from for your face, it's actually one of the most comforting hug in a bowl meals in French cuisine. There you go. Screw that, Troy. I want to go to the colonial era where men's suits were bright and colorful and cool looking. Yeah, but oftentimes made out of wool and very uncomfortable. This is something else that I've always said about having been somebody who is dressed in historically appropriate clothing going back to the colonial era. I know what it looks like and I know what it feels like. And I feel like you need to be comfortable as well as looking good. For example, just think about the regular modern suit. Most men will complain, "Oh, I can't stand anything around my neck," and hates ties. Then you're wearing a shirt where the neck is too tight, it's not fitted to you, and you're wearing your tie too tight. Seriously, it should be comfortable. You should be able to fit 2 fingers into a dress shirt without problem. If not, your shirt is too small. Sorry, you put on some weight. Time for you to get a larger shirt. It's just the way it is. My grandmother grew up in the Great Depression and she knew how to make simple dishes. I love her chicken soup. She knew how to zip it up from herbs and vegetables from her garden. Yep, my grandmother's chicken soup is exactly. I loved my grandmother's chicken soup so much that I make it every year at Thanksgiving time with turkey instead of chicken, just because you have so much turkey you need to use up, and it's absolutely perfect, absolutely perfect. Anyway, I did want to share something with you. This was my icon from last night. We watched Grease, and members. I decided last night. It was such a close vote between Grease and Hard to Hold that I'm going to go ahead and do Hard to Hold for the members stream next Monday. And I'm guessing that many of you haven't seen the movie before. It's just one that I'd really, really like to share with all of you. Let me go ahead. Speaking of share, let me go ahead and share my screen. So Disney's Snow White flop exposed Rachel Zegler controversy, ballooning budget, and box office collapse cost the studio $170 million. This is not, for most of us, anything like news. We all knew this. We were talking about this, but we could only speculate. We said it has to be this way. Now we have confirmation, and it just feels like a bit of schadenfreude. So let's get into it really quick. The financial fallout from Disney's live-action Snow White remake flop is finally coming into focus, and the numbers are nothing short of catastrophic. According to new reporting from Forbes, star contributor Carolyn Reed, the studio's controversial remake didn't just underperform, it cratered. After ballooning production costs, weak box office returns, and mounting controversies surrounding its lead star, the Snow White flop has resulted in an estimated $170 million loss for Disney from theatrical revenue alone. And add marketing into the mix, and this catastrophe becomes a box office apocalyptic event. When we're talking about marketing, we could be talking about 2 different things. We could be talking about the money spent to get the word out about the film, or it could be the production of products, toys, tchotchkes, posters, and stuff. That is also considered part of marketing. But both of those underperformed, did poorly. Keep in mind that for many of these corporations, what should be free advertising usually isn't. The buzz on social media is paid for. It just is. That's neither good nor bad. But these corporations have their social media outlets where they put up, trailers, they put up, little buzz pieces and stuff like that. And more than half of the engagement is just bots. And it just is. It's I don't see it as dirty pool. I just see it as, getting the message out there. they want to see people engaging with it because that is the buzz they're looking for. They are paying for advertising. It's just a different kind of advertising that they're paying for. Unfortunately, it did not go well for this product. It really, really didn't. And when you start digging into how this happened, the story gets even worse. Per financial filings tied to the UK production entity, Snow White racked up a staggering $336.5 million production cost, putting it in the same spending tier as major franchise tentpoles like Star Wars and Avengers films. Again, we've talked about this before, this idea where they do stupid things and they end up completely scrapping a movie they've almost completed and redoing it almost completely from scratch. And you're paying 2 and 3 times what you should be paying for a single film. That's going to eat into your bottom line. No way around it. That alone would have been a massive gamble for a remake of a nearly 90-year-old animated classic. But the problems started long before the movie ever hit theaters. Want to say hi to Jay Danny. Good to see you, my friend. Hello, all. Drinking a scotch. Wow. Depending on what time zone you're in, it's kind of early, isn't it? But hey, I'm not gonna judge. I certainly can't. Also, in marketing, we have to factor in premieres and press junkets. Again, all paid for by the studio. You're absolutely right. Oops, I lost my comments there. The production was plagued by setbacks, including destructive set fire during filming at Pinewood Studios and extensive reshoots that drove costs even higher. By mid-2022, before filming had even fully wrapped, Disney had already spent over $183 million. Even after receiving roughly $64.9 million in the UK, in UK tax reimbursements, Disney's net production spend still landed at approximately $271.6 million. Having it with lunch at our local steakhouse. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, God. Steak for lunch. That sounds really, really good. Now, if only the Daily Wire made... Yeah, I was just thinking that as I was reading this. I really was. Jeremy Boring is kind of a dumbass. He blew that in a very, very big way. He should have paid Brett what she wanted and at least gotten this movie done. He blew it. But then again, it's very clear that he doesn't understand certain aspects of business. Although I would say regarding the Daily Wire, let's make sure we check out their Merlin series. That looks like it's going to be really, really good. Disney has screwed up multiple times, but Snowed Woke and the 7 Garden Gnomes was both miscast and continuous reshoots. Absolutely true. That meant the film needed to perform at blockbuster levels just to break even, and it didn't even come close. The live action remake opened to about $87.3 million globally, already below studio projections, and financed its theatrical run with just $205.7 million. Oh, it finished its theatrical run with just $205.7 million worldwide. That places it among the lowest grossing of Disney's modern live action remakes. And here's where the math turns brutal. Studios don't keep all the box office revenue. Theater chains typically retain about half of the ticket sales, meaning Disney's actual return for the film's theatrical run lands around $102.9 million. Stack that against the $271.6 million net production cost, and you're staring at a theatrical loss of roughly 168 to 170 million. Hence the headline reality, the Snow White flop cost Disney dearly. If the estimated 170 million theatrical loss wasn't damaging enough, the full financial picture surrounding Snow White becomes even more dire once marketing expenses are factored in. Blockbuster films of this scale don't just carry massive production budgets, they require equally aggressive global promotional campaigns. Industry tracking routinely places marketing and distribution costs for major Disney tentpoles in the $100 to $150 million range, depending on the breadth of the rollout. The spend typically covers worldwide trailer placement, television advertising buys, digital and social media campaigns. That's what I was just talking about. Brand partnership and cross promotion, red carpet premieres, and press tours. That stuff ain't free. Setting up those galas and paying for the people to run them costs money. International localization and dubbing promotions. Sets burned down? Sounds like even God hated this film. Yep. Wait, what was that? Just ran into a fellow Trek fan, saved him from viewing something he would not be able to unsee. He was pissed when I told him about the foot fetish show. Yeah, the Starfeet Academy? Absolutely. Yeah. The Pendragon cycle is pretty good. They're about 4 episodes in. We're starting to see Brett Cooper's character show up in Visions from Merlin. Interesting. Oh, that's right. She had filmed some footage for that, hadn't she? Leanne, good to see you. I'm having a margarita with my lunch. Awesome. That is awesome. Glad to hear it. I really am. You deserve it. Thank you, Troy, for this story. My brother owes me $20. He said Snow White probably only lost a little over 100 million. And I said it had to have lost anywhere between 170 and 175 million. And that's what we can account for. It, as we're getting into here, it was almost certainly more than that. Given the controversy surrounding Snow White, Disney arguably had to spend even more on damage control and visibility, attempting to reframe the narrative and drive audience interest despite the growing backlash. Let's face it, they were not successful. There were even reports of the company hiring social media gurus to keep an eye on Rachel Zegler after the series of explosive political postings. Look, they should have not, they should have said, screw the social media gurus. Slap a fucking cease and desist on her and get your lawyers involved and say, if this tanks because of stupid shit you've done, we're going to sue the fuck out of you, girl. You know, I mean, it depends on what's in her contract, but it used to be that was what was in your contracts. You had riders in there that said, if you do anything that harms the press on this project, you will be financially liable. And here's the crucial financial reality. Marketing costs are not included in the UK production filings that revealed the film's 336.5 million gross production spend. That means the previously outlined 168 to 170 million theatrical loss only reflects the gap between box office returns and net production costs. Once an estimated 100 to 150 million global marketing push is layered on top, the true financial damage tied to the Snow White flop could climb substantially higher, potentially pushing Disney's total exposure on the film well beyond $250 million, probably over 300 million, before ancillary revenue is even considered. In other words, the box office loss may only be the opening chapter of the film's financial fallout. Financial misfires alone don't explain the film's collapse. The project was mired in backlash long before release. Lead actress Rachel Zegler reportedly sparked headlines after publicly criticizing the 1937 animated classic the remake was based on, calling the original story dated and taking aim at Prince Charming's character. Weird. The commentary didn't sit well with longtime Disney fans. The backlash intensified when early trailers revealed the film's CGI dwarves, a design choice widely mocked online and described by critics as unsettling. The trailer itself became one of the most disliked promotional videos ever tied to a Disney release. Zegler's off-screen commentary only deepened the divide. Social media posts, including politically charged messaging tied to global conflicts in U.S. politics, reportedly created internal concern within Disney and the film's production team. In a blistering Instagram barrage, Zegler actually expressed hope that President Trump and his supporters never know peace. At one point, producers allegedly attempted to intervene regarding her online activity, fearing brand damage ahead of the film's release. By that stage, however, the reputational impact was already baked in. The film wasn't just facing audience skepticism, it was battling full-blown consumer rejection. Let's see. Let me see. I'm sorry, let me back up. I was told by a friend to watch New Trek Sore Feet Atrocity, but I didn't say anything about how terrible it truly was. Leanne says, praise report, I was looking at losing my leg, but with all the thoughts and prayers, my leg is, the next morning was completely healed and don't even have a scar anymore. I love you all. We love you too, Leanne. That is very, very encouraging news, and I appreciate hearing about that. Guys, you know, whether you're religious or not, just when someone knows that you're in their corner, that kind of a positive affirmation puts people in the right mindset for healing. So even an agnostic has to accept that prayers work. They really, really do. And I'm glad that we could be of some comfort, solace, and assistance in this health crisis of yours, Leanne. Unsettling, those dwarves were nightmare fuel. Well, yeah, I know you're absolutely right about that. A film just okay. I'm sorry. I want to figure out where I am in this. When stacked against Disney's other live-action adaptations, the numbers paint a grim picture. Adjusting for inflation, even older remakes like 102 Dalmatians and Christopher Robin outperformed Snow White financially. You'd have to go back decades outside of pandemic era releases to find comparable underperformance. Yeah, you almost have to go to straight to DVD type releases. For a studio that once treated live action remakes as guaranteed billion-dollar plays, the Snow White flop represents a dramatic reversal of fortune. Disney will still collect revenue from home media sales, streaming licensing, and marketing, but those revenue streams come with their own marketing and distribution costs. In other words, theatrical loss may only be part of the damage. The failure hasn't slowed Disney's remake strategy. The studio follows up live-action release Lilo and Stitch, crossed $1 billion globally. But that success only illustrates how sharply Snow White deviated from expectations. When a remake tied to one of Disney's most iconic princesses loses nearly $170 million theatrically and more than $300 million in all, it raises serious questions about brand management, audience trust, and escalating production budgets. Because if this level of spending can't guarantee success anymore, the risk calculus for Disney remake machine just changed overnight. Wow. Leanne says, I don't even have a heart problem anymore, Troy. God is good. And just remember, pray like it all depends on God, but work like it all depends on you. You got to do what the doctors say. You got to get your diet and exercise right and do all those things too. You got to give God something to work with. He will bless your efforts. He will multiply your efforts. When Doomcock gets a notification that one of his friends is going through a tough time, he asks everyone to either pray or send positive energy towards that person. Yeah. And I believe that that is an amplifying thing, right? In isolation, one person saying, I'm praying for you is encouraging and does help. But when a community comes together and says, we together are collectively praying for you, I think it just multiplies and empowers like a transformer, not like a bantha. Have you guys seen that Mandalorian Super Bowl spot? Everywhere that I see it, I'm putting in quotes in the comments like a tauntaun. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed with these people. Thank you for the $2 super chat. You certainly didn't have to do that to say hallelujah to Leanne's words there. There you go. There you go. I love her. I can't wait to be with her. Yeah, there you go. There you go. See, I love this community. You guys are like a good bedrock foundation. And that's the only reason this channel can even continue to exist. I super appreciate every single one of you. This is why I always end the show, and I actually am going to end the show now with this because I think this is a great stepping off point. But I always tell you guys, if you're not healthy, get healthy. And if you are healthy, stay healthy. Because I care about you and I want you to be around as long as possible. Life is already too short. Let's not shorten it even more with bad decisions. Let's like I said, pray like it all depends on God, but work like it all depends on you. This is also why I say stay hydrated. I don't think people even really understand how important hydration is, how many of the aches and pains, inflammations, and headaches that you get are because of dehydration. That alone helps. It really, really does. At the very bare minimum, it thins out your blood enough to get those antibodies moving around to help you fight disease. That's why I tell you all to stay hydrated. I tell you to drink responsibly because honestly, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of drink. It's good for your heart in moderation, but don't overdo it because it can really mess up your liver and, just be wise. So guys, I want to thank you all so much for being here with me tonight. All those things I just said and more. You guys take care of yourselves. Tonight, of course, live from Sparkwood and 21 and Sherlock Holmes. Hope to see you guys there. And whether you can or not, until next time, take care of yourselves. Salute. Where's my closing credits?
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the highway.